Howdy folks, Sap here, aka Sean. We're bringing you another turn of Main Battle Tank. This is turn 9 of Main Battle Tank. 3rd Armor versus 28th Tank Regiment, Soviet. And you probably can't see all the lines, but there's going to be, so NATO won initiative again, which, you know, the way the scenario is set up, NATO should win the initiative almost every turn. There was a couple of turns in the beginning that the Soviets won, which is unusual, but the NATO guys should win initiative almost every turn because they have like a plus 40 on the die roll. So unless they roll terribly, then they're not going to win. But you can see a little bit. So you see a couple fire arrows there, and then let's see. We got one there, and then we've got a bunch. There's a lot of, you can see all the arrows up here. So there's a heavy volume of fire. So because the NATO guys won initiative, they choose to fire first. And depending on how this turn plays out, I may or may not kind of call the game, because if all these hit, if everything hits and all this stuff is destroyed this turn, the Soviets really aren't going to have much of a chance. So let's kind of show you what I'm talking about. And I know it's early, right? But okay, my table's not quite big enough. Let's do this. There we go. So we've got 2 BMPs here with 2 squads. This is the only thing on this side of the map that could actually push towards the objective. So we've got 2 shots, 84% chance. Both of those are Bradleys. I think I'm going to use the main gun, not the missiles. So the main gun will have a little bit less of a chance, I think. The tow missiles, or if it hits the tow missiles, probably a guarantee. But we've got that Bushmaster chain gun, which can get multiple hits from one shot. So I've got that. They've got 84% chances to hit. So that's 2 guys firing there. So if we take both of those BMPs out, there's really nothing on this side of the map that can push that way. So if I take both of those out, pretty much, depending on how you want to look at it. So if we're looking at it from the Soviet perspective, this direction, everything on the right has failed. We'll have some infantry squads, but honestly, the infantry squads, I think they have a movement of 2. The scenario is a 20-turn scenario, so we have a movement, leg units have a movement of 2. So it would take, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 turns to even get that far. And that's saying that they don't get shot at and suppressed and all that before they get there. So that's what I'm dealing with here on the right, on the Soviet right, or the NATO left. So if both of those BMPs get taken out, it's pretty much done on the right. And then here in the middle, we've got, excuse me, there's 2 tanks here. There's a tank here, and a tank here. So we have 5 tanks, right? Basically, the Soviets only have 5 tanks left. And you can see there's a ton of arrows. So I think we've got this stack of tanks is getting shot at by 1, 2, 3, by 3 Bradleys. This shot here and this shot here are actually going to this tank and that tank. So if we take out all those tanks this turn, in the middle there'll be basically some BMPs. You've got the BMPs sitting up on the hill with some infantry. BMPs stand no chance against these M1s. So if everything goes as the NATO guys plan, then I will probably call this. Let's go ahead and let's start rolling up stuff. So here we go. This is the Soviet right. We'll go ahead and roll. We'll roll this shot right here. 84% chance. And we got an 80. So that was almost a miss. Let's get our cards out here. Got a Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. All right, so that was tank 199. Yeah, you still have plenty of tow missiles left. I've been trying to keep track of ammo sometimes. Like I don't have these guys. Can I even see those? Yeah, you can see that in the camera. So I don't have these guys as marked off on my tow missile expenditure tracker, which is something that I made. There's not anything like that in the game. But I think they may have been involved in like maybe one or two. They've only fired once or twice, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, so it's going to be, let's find out where we hit. It's a 2, so the AP hit location is in the turret front, and it is a 7. So a 7 is a, oh, actually, you know what we were doing? Dang it. Well, I already marked off the tow missile. I was going to use the chain gun, but it doesn't matter. So that's a brew up result. So this guy is toast. So that means the crew is dead. Let's see if the leg unit inside did not make it out. So the leg unit is also dead. Well, I think I'm out of these brew up. These little explosions. All right, so there's one. Let's see. Now we'll fire this Bradley. We'll do the chain gun this time. Let's just double check and make sure. That's a rapid fire. There's so much stuff in this game, man. Sometimes it's just like, ugh. All right. So that is a 0-2. That is going to be amazing. That's going to be an amazing result. So basically, let's see if we can get this. So actually, we've got to do this. So the rate of fire is rapid, which is shown right there. So now we do this. So the hit number, so we have to go in here. The hit number was an 84, so we go to here. So it was an 84 to 89. And then depending on what you roll is the number of hits you get. So we rolled, you can see that there, we rolled a 2. So if you roll between a 1 and a 13, you get 4 hits. If you rolled between a 14 and a 26, you would have gotten 3 hits. And you can see how it goes. So if you rolled over a 40, but lower than the hit number, you would have just got 1 hit. So we got a really good roll. So we got 4 hits with the 4 hits with the 25 millimeter Bushmaster 25 millimeter cannon. So now you can divide those hits up. If there's multiple targets in the hex, you could divide those hits up. I think, I didn't do that because there's only one vehicle left in the hex. So I'm not going to worry about all that nonsense, but you could actually target multiple things. I think they have to be in the same hex. If they're in different hexes, it's different. But so that's 4 hits. So what'll be interesting here is if we get a track hit, we still have 3 more hits left. So this guy's probably donezo. So that was short range. So the penetration value, oh, let me get my big thumb out of the way. There we go. So the penetration value is an 11 at short range. And then and it's a level shot. So we can see that all across here, the highest armor value is on the turret front, which is a 7. So as long as we don't get a track hit on this BMP, he is pretty much, he's done. That thing is Swiss cheese as far as I'm concerned. So let's do the hit location. It's a front and a number 3. So, all right, so we hit the front and the 3 is a no damage. So guess what though? We still have 3 more hits. As long as we roll over a 3 on the second die. So guess what? We did the exact same thing. We're just peppering the front of this thing. 2 more shots. So we have a 5 and a 9. A 5 is the hull location and a 9 is a KO. So that BMP has been knocked out. Go ahead and take that out of the way. All right, let's see. Let's see, we have a knockout, so on a 21 or greater, the, let's see, yeah, on a 21 or greater, the units inside are gone. So it was a 94, so the crew inside is, or not the crew, I'm sorry, but the infantry squad that was inside that Bradley is also gone. So basically, the right side is, they're pretty much done. All right, so let's go and see what else we got. Looks like the Americans decided to save all the good shots for the very last. So we'll go ahead and take care of this one here. So we need a 77. We got an 89, so that was a miss. Well, you know what? Where's my black marker? I don't know where it went. All right, whatever. All right, so that was a miss. All right, and then we've got, well, you can't see them. You can barely get everything in there. So these two Bradleys are going to also fire at the same spot. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to declare who shoots at who ahead of time. It's kind of difficult when you're playing by yourself, but one Bradley will shoot at the top tank, the other Bradley will shoot at the bottom tank. That way it'll kind of be, because let's say both of them declared that they were going to shoot at the top tank in that stack, because there's two tanks in that stack, and when the first Bradley blows it up, then it's like a wasted shot. But, you know, whatever. So we need 77, so first shot is a 54. That is a hit. All right, so that was 197. All right, I'm not tracking the tow missile expenditures, so that is basically, that's a good shot right there. So an 8 is the hull front, and a 0 is a brew up result. So if we look at our tow missile, so a 10 is a brew up. So, but one thing we have to do is we've got to remember that this T-72 has, what did we say? We had that's a hull front. So a hull front shot, level, they have an armor of 95, but they also have that light brown and the brown, so they have the kinetic energy or chemical energy armor, and they have the explosive reactive armor. So we got to go to the chart. So 95 times 1.5 is basic. It's almost like a 150. Let's look. Let's do this, these dang charts. No, so we go down to 90. Figures the crease is right there. So we always round down. So it's a penetration value of 135. A tow missile is 180, so that penetrates. So now we do the 135 times the ERA. So we take that down to 130. The ERA has a penetration value of 210, but we have to look at this right here. So if the ERA is effective, then it will defeat that warhead because 210 is greater than 180. So we need to roll a 7 or less. And we got a 3. So nothing happened. That tank is fine. Now we'll go ahead and do this whole process again for the other Bradley, and it will shoot at the bottom tank. So that was a hit. ERA. So 77 or lower, 91, that was a miss. There we go. So that's that. Now we'll go ahead and go over to the other side, and then we'll see what happens from there. There we go. There we go. Got to figure out where the best way to place that thing is. So this M1 tank is going to fire at 136, which is, can we see it? Yes. So 136 is this tank and this stack right here. So range 16, it's a medium range shot, 65% chance. Now this is an M1, so we're not using missiles. So if we hit this tank, there's going to be no chance for the ERA, the explosive reactive armor, to work, because the main tank round of an M1 is a kinetic energy round only. It's like basically a giant dart. So we need to roll a 65 or less. And we rolled an 82, so that's a miss. Now this tank here is firing at 142, which is this tank here. So we need an 84 or less. And we got a 96. Wow. That was some terrible rolling. We did really good on that side of the map, really terrible on this side of the map. All right, so that's that. I will go ahead, and now the Soviets get to return fire. So I'll go ahead and get all that set up, and then we'll see what happens. All right, folks. So I've got the Soviets. They're getting ready to return some fire. So let's see here. Both of these tanks are going to fire at 141, which is this one back here, this M1 in the back, because we can get a side shot. Front shots, a T-72 cannot go toe-to-toe with an M1 tank. The main gun is not powerful enough. I think I've probably shown this before. So, kinetic energy, even at point blank range, has a penetration value of 108. So level shot has a 110. So you can get a track hit. That's about the best that you can hope for. So turret front 110, hull front has 117. Yeah, so you're not going to penetrate that. And I think it's got a tandem warhead on it. I didn't realize that. So you have a penetration value of 180 with the missile. But they have a CE of times 2, so basically you would double that armor, so that's 220. So their anti-tank missile can't even penetrate that. So the best you can hope for is a track hit, which if you're going to hit it head on. So that would be a head-on shot, and I don't think line of sight would let me see this tank here. So we're going to fire at that one. We got two chances to hit. 56% chance. That's a 26, and let's see if the other one hits too. 67, so only the first one hit. Let's see where we hit. A 5 and a 3. That's a front side. 5 is a hull front shot. A hull front. Hull front has a 100, so we'll double that because that's kinetic energy, so that's a 200, so that missile can't hit. And then a 3 would have been a KO, so nothing happens. No effect. So that was that. This tank here is going to shoot at that Bradley, 50% chance. 50 exactly. You don't get any closer than that. So let's see where. So that's a 6. That's a hull front. We got a 1 result, which is a no damage. Well, that was kind of crappy. So we do have to roll to see if where are we at? All right, so AP no damage crew. So on a 10 or lower, they bail. Passenger, 50% chance. So let's see. So that is a 32. The crew does not bail. And then the passenger also does not bail because I rolled, can't see, I rolled 100. So it's got to be less than a 50. So nobody, those guys said, haha, you can't scare us. And then we've got this tank right here firing at this immobilized Bradley. So they need a 70% chance. 16, that is a hit. So we rolled a 67. I think that's done. Yeah, so a 7 is a brew up, a 6 is a hull front location. So that tank, or that Bradley, this guy's finally gone. Boom. Take that out. Let me see. I might have. Actually, I do. So we can move that out of the way. I think that's the last one of those that I have. What else did we have? So this guy here, way over here, he was also firing at that Bradley. It doesn't matter. He's dead. So I think, let me double check one more thing. 210. The leg unit was right here already out of the vehicle, so nothing happens there. So that's it. That is, now I have to do movement, which I don't have a lot of movement going on. Take these out of here. Yeah, we've just got to resolve some movement. I think the majority of the movement was on the Soviet side. So other than that, that's it for this turn. I'll probably do another turn now because the Allies weren't able to completely cripple the Soviets. So we'll get back with you. All right, folks, not much in the way of movement. This guy, he had a movement token. I didn't even move him because, well, he's the sole survivor of his entire platoon. So I can't imagine that a single squad would press on. So he's just gonna hang out, smoke some cigarettes probably. Let's see what else. So we had that squad move to here. If you recall, there was 2 tanks here. They moved to over there. They were like, you know what? We're not gonna. There's no way they're gonna be able to take these guys on. So they're gonna probably try to go up around and come over there, something like that. Something a little more common sense, I think. The other tank that was in here joined his buddy here. So we've got 2 tanks there. And then we had basically that BMP moved up. And we had those squads move up. Squad moved up. These 2 BMPs moved one. And then I think it was the squad here moved. This guy's not going to move. He has machine guns are the only weapons that guy's got. So that is pretty much it for turn 9. So thanks for watching.